Hey everybody, Nick Yor here. Welcome into a very special edition of the Prep Zone. Today I'm joined by Oakton head lacrosse coach Jake Bullock. But first, we're going to have a message and a commercial from dmvstream.com.
At dmvstream.com, we're working hard in our HD production studio to continue to bring our viewers a continuous flow of new and fresh content. Our studio material includes shows, analysis, recaps, previews, highlights, interviews, and commentary, all about your favorite DMV sports, including high school, colleges, and pro teams. Commercial space and inventory is available for sponsorship and businesses. Learn more about how to join our network of partners at dmvstream.com. That's dmvstream.com. At dmvstream.
Remember, if you'd like to learn more about how to broadcast your game or event, contact us here at dmvstream.com. Welcome back, everybody. Nick Yor here, joined by a very special guest today, Jake Bullock, the head lacrosse coach at Oakton High School. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, after coming off a thrilling state championship victory, 11-10 over Robinson down at Deep Run High School. Just a thrilling game, back and forth. What was that win like for your team and your program, capturing, I guess, the first official state championship for Oakton High School?
Of course, it was very special, and you feel very happy and proud of your team and what they accomplished, especially when you're playing against such a great team like Robinson, who's very talented all across the board, and just the way they came back, it was great to see them, finally kind of realize how talented they can be too.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that comeback here in a little bit, but so you guys got down 9-4 in that game, and to a tough Robinson team, which is tough to come back against how much talent they have. But what did that really tell you about your team, and what did you tell them specifically to make that comeback?
Well, we obviously had a very slow start to the game. I think they got up on us 5-1 at the end of the first quarter, or 4-1, 5-1, and we go into halftime. I think it was down 6 or 7-3 or 7-4, something like that. And we just kind of told them, like, hey, trust in our depth, the fact that, it's a hot day, end of the year, that, we're really a second-half team. We seem to always get off the slow starts for some reason. So I think our kids are comfortable being in that situation, and then we kind of understand how they're playing a little bit. And we went into halftime. We said, hey, trust our depth. Things are going to get better. You can't get discouraged at yourself, and because that does happen on the sidelines sometimes.
Yeah.
People get upset if somebody doesn't make a play or makes a mistake. But our kids were pretty resilient, and of course, we had some very good fortune happen right at the end of the third quarter to bring us within 3, and our kids just came to the sideline just incredibly intense, very focused, very pumped up, and we just said, you got 12 minutes left, seniors, just leave it all in the field, and underclassmen play for their last 12 minutes too, and they went out there and did it.
Yeah, you guys had some pretty important seniors on that team, Jake Cole, Jake Egan, so playing their last games, obviously the pressure and their emotions are going to be running high. What was, you kind of mentioned on it earlier, but what was that goal like? What was obviously it might have been a lucky play, but it might have just been a regular play, you can tell us. But what was that play like before the third quarter, the full court pass and goal, and what type of momentum did that give you going into the fourth?
Well, actually, right before that, we had a great offensive possession, and their goalie made a fantastic save on, I believe it was Jared Cole, who was shooting lights out that day. So, that's tough for him to do. And, of course, they're trying to push it upfield to hopefully get a last-minute score, and then Jared makes a great play right after that to cause a turnover to go out of bounds. And, of course, with only 4 seconds left and 4 or 5 seconds left in the quarter, you just tell them to just chuck it downfield and see what happens. And, when games like that, you need a little bit of luck. So, and it went in, and it was just pretty awesome to see. I've never seen a goal like that on the field. So It was pretty awesome for Doug, who scored that goal.
Yeah, I've never seen a goal like that either. You always see them chuck it at the end of the quarter or half, but it never actually reaches an intended target. We can talk about obviously a very intense game for you guys, but you played these guys, Robinson, in the regular season 8-5. You guys lost. Can you guys just talk about what this rivalry is like for you guys, being former district rivals and then being so close to each other in Fairfax?
Well, they're obviously very well known. They've been the cream of the crop program for the last decade, probably actually in all of Northern Virginia since we really started playing. They've got numerous state titles, official, unofficial, I don't care what you call them. They're state champs. And, they won 3 in succession here within the past 4 years before this year. And so, going out there, you have to look at them objectively and say they are considered the best team, and they are considered the top team to want to compete against. So we really, one, you got to respect your opponent and understand how talented they are, and don't placate to them in the way they play. You got to go attack them, try to take away their strengths and attack, what you feel are their weaknesses too. But it's a very competitive rivalry. We enjoy playing the top teams every single year. We want to put them on our schedule every single year. Most of the times they've gotten the better of us. I know last year we had another miraculous game against them where we were up on them, and they had a thrilling comeback with 3 goals left in regulation to tie the game, and fortunately we came out on top. And then we go and play them in the conference playoffs, and they absolutely destroy us. So we've been on the bad end of a game versus them too as well. And this year it was I don't want to call it boring, but just a very I guess challenge game where I think they beat us 8-5. It was a really hot day. It was on a Saturday, in the middle of the season, and not too much emotion behind it, but it was just kind of like understanding where both teams were at, and
not the same district either type of game.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we wanted to play them. We were excited to play them, but it was just our boys had prom later on that day. There's a lot of factors that went into it. I mean, that's not making an excuse. That's just saying that, we didn't play our best lacrosse that day. And I know they didn't play their best lacrosse that day either. Mm-hmm. But, to come out 8-5, it shows that, both teams' offenses were probably not clicking. Maybe it shows that their defenses were, but it was just an overall competitive game. And every game like that is kind of with them no matter what the score is.
Oh, yeah, definitely a competitive series between you guys. But you guys have obviously had a lot of talent on this year's team, but only one committed Division I player right now. So what, in your opinion, made this year's team so special and maybe different from years past?
We have a highly intelligent team. I think a third of our varsity team has a 4.0 GPA or higher. I mean, they're really smart kids, but the way we design our offense, one, we use our depth to our advantage, where we cycle in a lot of guys through the team. I mean, we probably consistently play 22 to 25 guys in every single game, whether it's a minute or whether it's they're on the field the whole time. We play a lot of guys, and we have very capable reserves on the field. But there's talent there too. But we really try to teach the kids that talent alone doesn't help you get across. I think we've gone to a couple games just relying on our talent, and we had some good teams take it to us and beat us this year, to where we had to reevaluate. This is what we're talking about, guys. We can't rely on our talent, and that goes on us as a coaching staff too. That sometimes we have to prepare a different way for a team. If you look at our schedule, teams that we lost to, we came back and we beat every single game. We kind of avenged those losses because we understood what to do as a staff. Like we went into game planning wrong, for example. But we're really balanced on the team. We have kids who have great abilities all over the field, at attack, at midfield, at face-off, at defense, at goalie. And so, we knew we were young last year after a lot of success, so we went in there with a lot more confidence. And that's the biggest thing, confidence and work ethic, and understanding that, not to get, rattled during tough times. And I think, our close games earlier in this year, proved that they went out there and said, hey, we got this, coach. We're all right. We're going to be really calm. Because if you watch at the end of the game, they really didn't make any mistakes. There was no throwing away balls because of nerves or anything. So, That's kind of where we were at this year.
Yeah, it's kind of lead me into my next question. So you guys lost to South County in the state semifinals last year, and then played them again this year, and then lost to Woodson as well this year, and then Robinson in the regular season, but then ended up beating all three en route to the state championship. So what do you think was the reason for that kind of second half turnaround and the recent success in the team?
Well, it's tough when you play teams, very talented teams early in the year. You can't get a really good scout on them. You know the players very well through club lacrosse or just playing them years prior, but it's hard to adjust. That's one thing I think we do really well, is that we make very good adjustments in game. But if you give good teams pretty good leads, it's hard to come back from that. That's why I was pretty amazed at what happened this past weekend. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't really, anything different. It's just the kids have a deeper belief in themselves that, they can go out there and beat anybody out there. And, they don't look at talent alone. They respect the talent, but they don't, look at the talent and back away from it. They consider that a good challenge. And, that's really kind of all it boils down to. Yeah,
if you're going to go with everybody, you might as well beat the best. And that's exactly what you guys did in every single round. So I got to ask about a couple guys in your team, the Cole brothers. Sure. You got Jake and Jared Cole. Jake had 7 goals, I think, versus South County in the state semifinal, and then his brother turns around and gets 6 goals, including 2, 1 to tie it, and then 1 to win it in the state final. So what is it like to coach like 2 brothers like that? I talked to Jake a little bit. He just loves being on the same line with his brother. So just can you talk about what it's like with those 2?
Yeah, it's one's a senior, one's a sophomore, and they play 2 very different styles of games, and I think that's why they complement each other so well. And then they have a couple other kids that are out there that play attack with them that help complement them as well and make them look good. But they make other guys look good too. But they just have a knack for finding the net. I mean, they're very good shooters, and what's fun is that to watch them where Jared might have a very big game. Jake might be the quiet guy on the field, and then when Jake has a big game, Jared might be the quiet guy on the field. And so I think that teams, when you're trying to play us, it's like who do we put how are our matchups going to be, because any one of them can take it to you.
Yeah, and Jake is certainly a matchup nightmare with his size going up against smaller defenders. I mean, it was just amazing to see one of them get 6 and then the other one get 7 the next game. So you guys won the Concord District this year and then lost in the Northern Region final. So what do you kind of tell your guys, and how do you prepare for them to make that state title run after losing such an emotional game in the regional championship?
Well, I mean, if you look back to last year, we lost a couple of key games to where we thought that was going to hurt us going into playoffs, and I think our kids realized, well, hey, sometimes that could be the best thing for you is a loss. It gives you a little bit of rest, but it kind of humbles you a little bit and gets you fired up to where you take it a little bit more seriously going to the next game. So. I think we may have gone in there a little bit too overconfident versus Chantilly in the regional final. We had beaten them in the regular season and for the district title, and they came out there and had an awesome game plan to how to stop us. And they're very well coached and have a lot of very talented players. And our kids at the end of the day had to respect that. That they went out there and lost to the better team that day, and Chantilly was the better team. But if we hadn't won that game, or if we had won that game, our path to the state finals would have been a whole lot different. I think if we had won our first round game, then we may have had to see Robinson in the semifinals, and we had to see them at their home field. So it's that's a whole different story. That's a place you don't want to have to play away. And so maybe losing that game helped us in a lot of ways, but it put us on a very tough path where we had to play Woodson, South County, and then Robinson, who are probably what a lot of people consider the toughest district in the entire state. So
exactly. So yeah, that's truly shows the determination of your team there for this year. So the Washington Post recent release, it's like end of the year lacrosse rankings for this area, and you guys are ranked in the top 10 along with powerhouses like Gonzaga, Bullock, Landon. Actually came in at number 7 or 8 in the country. So what is it, or in the area, what's it like for your team and program to be like compared with other teams like that and be on that list?
Well, I didn't know that I just found out from you, I guess, that we were in the top 10.
It was released today, so don't.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. So that's pretty nice. It's nice to get recognition, but we try to tell the kids that, look, you don't need a banner on the wall. You don't need a ring on your finger to be appreciated of all the hard work and stuff you do. It is nice to receive that recognition. And, but it's just a ranking, honestly. And, it's just kind of like a stat's just a stat. There's a lot of guys out there who contribute very valuable to our, a lot of value to our team that don't get stats, like D middies. I mean, they provide such a service on the field where, they don't get credit for all the work they do. Actually they get probably a lot more abuse than they probably should get, that they made a lot of mistakes. But, it is pretty nice to sit there and be amongst those other teams because we know how talented they are. But, people argue about rankings and stuff all the time, but that's all it is, just a ranking.
Yep, it proves you can stay home, too, and play good lacrosse here in the Fairfax area for these 2 good teams. So you guys were state semifinals last year, win the Concord and the state championship this year. Obviously, the program's in great hands. But where do you see the future of this program going? Obviously, you got one of your top goal scorers, Jared Cole, like you said, just a sophomore, will be back. So where do you see the future going in this team?
Unfortunately, Jared's actually moving, and so he's moving this summer to Stonebridge. So he's definitely gonna be sorely missed. Yeah. But because he's a phenomenal kid and a phenomenal player, and he scored 100, I think, points this year. And I don't have the official stats on me right now. I gotta still finish those, but. Losing a talent like his, hurts a whole lot. Losing a talent like his brother hurts a whole lot. Losing all of our seniors who are great leaders this year, it really hurts. But we have some really talented juniors, and we got some really hungry kids who are waiting to fill their shoes to step up. And that's kind of what you want. You want your juniors and seniors to be on the field, your seniors to take leadership. and to just have underclass talent, waiting in the wings, learning from these guys, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So we return, a lot of talent all over the field with Kevin McDade, Zach Weber, Jack Waters. We returned actually our goalie who wasn't our number one goalie this year, but he helped us win the region 2 years ago, in Aiden Ricci. We returned a lot of talented Poles. Ethan Robertson, who was the conference player of the year this year. Aiden Smith's another kid, and Will Carruthers. Yeah, we returned, and Matthew D'Souza, who's our Division I commit. We didn't have him all year actually, so, basically. Yeah. So, he's kind of in the same realm. Probably a step below Nick Roulette next, who's the faceoff guy from Robinson, who's the best in the state, one of the best in the country. So he's going to hopefully fill that role for us, next year, where he's the dominant faceoff guy. And I'm excited to see what we bring next year.
Yeah, definitely is a huge factor if you have a dominant faceoff guy like that. It makes life a lot easier. So we'll get you out of here on this one. So you guys have just what you guys have going on this summer within the program. I know you got some summer camps, maybe some youth camps. But I wanted to ask you guys, besides that, what you got going on, do you get a lot of work with your team, or is it tough because, like you said, these guys are playing with their their AAU lacrosse teams, their summer camps, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, they need some rest. I know that. Everyone needs to take some time off and relax. But, our season goes so long, where, just ended this past Saturday, where I coach a club team, a local club team, Virginia Lacrosse Club, and we have our first travel tournament this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, up in Philadelphia. So, it never stops. It never ends, because this is the hot time for lacrosse season to recruit. All these coaches are out there watching them at these big tournaments. And so, if they're playing lacrosse and they're serious about it, they're right back in the grind the next week, which is good because their skills are honed in. They're in shape. They're feeling good about themselves. But I know they're tired. So now that school's almost done, at least for public school, that they get some rest during the day or during the week, maintain, to stay healthy and keep fit in some way. But yeah, they definitely deserve some rest. All kids deserve rest. It's just too long of a season in a lot of ways. I know I'm tired, so. But that's the number one thing, get some rest. And we really don't, reconvene. We have an end-of-the-year team party next weekend, but, we want to get the kids away from us a little bit, go kind of miss it a little bit and then want to get back. And the first thing that we do is we do a team camp. At the end of July, we go to UNC team camp every year and try to compete against some really talented players. It's a pretty good recruiting camp, and where we see a lot of the top kids in the nation. So that's our first and foremost. It's kind of like seeing what our new team looks like together, and what better time to do it than, away at a college campus and, away from mom and dad, kind of like a little vacation in itself. But, they got to deal with me, getting on them a little bit and trying new things. But it's a time to where just, hey, let's just experiment and see what we got here and try new positions, put kids at midfield who play attack normally and vice versa. Let a deep hole, take a face-off that's never taken a face-off before. Just see what we can do. And they end up loving the camp. It's hot and it's tiring, but they end up loving it.
Yeah, it's certainly a great experience and great exposure being down there in such a great lacrosse school like UNC. But that's going to do it for us, as this will be a very special edition of the Prep Zone. Make sure to check it out. As we had Oakton head coach Jake Bullock, thank you for joining us. And we will make sure be back next week and keep up with us on all your sports knowledge around the DMV. Thank you again.